So everyone knows that celebrity chef David Chang is a virtuoso in the kitchen. But as we saw on Sunday night's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, his genius doesn't end there. Wow, take a look.
All right, Mina. Although he and his wife never touched a light switch for fear of being shocked, who was the first president to have electricity in the White House?
I think it's probably Harrison.
B. Benjamin Harrison. Final answer. God, no.
But David Chang, your metallic testicles just won you $1 million for your charity.
Oh, I love how they drag that out. Oh, that's amazing. I mean, I can't tell you because I was on that show. It's so hard to do. So please welcome the author of Eat a Peach and the host of Ugly Delicious, David Chang. Hi, David.
Hi, guys. Great to be here.
Great to have you here. You're so smart. And you won the big prize Sunday night on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which we just saw. The first celebrity to ever do it. Your phone a friend, ESPN's Mina Kimes helped you, right? You could have walked away with about $500,000. But you decided to risk it all. I mean, how did you make that decision in your head? Like, I'm going to give up $500,000. I'm going to lose it, but I'm going to go for it. Did you really know Benjamin Harrison was the first one, for sure?
Truthfully, I didn't even know he was a president. I really didn't know. And that was one of the tells that maybe he might be the answer. And obviously, Mina Kimes is so smart. And she said probably Benjamin Harrison. So I thought that was like a good chance. And I honestly, it was not responsible for me to go and answer it, but I made a quick calculation that even if I got it wrong, that it would put a spotlight on the industry. Yes, it would be eternal embarrassment for myself the rest of my life, but at least people would be talking about the hospitality industry. And I trust the intelligence of Mina Kimes more than myself, and thank God we got it right. Thank goodness.
Go big or go home, David.
Exactly.
Such a gambler you are.
No, you're David, I don't know if you know this, but you're not the only one around here who's won money on Millionaire a couple years ago in November 2000. Joy was on it, too. Let's take a look.
You see, here's the dilemma, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
55%, 45% of them guessed, all right? So we're really dealing with 10%. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna lose $93,000 for this little school? No way, Jose. Give me the money.
Hey, 125,000.
Thank you, Regis.
Okay, baby. Good luck. Okay.
That's our own Joy and her risk assessment. But Joy, did you experience the level of anxiety that David did?
What I'm experiencing is that it was 20 years ago. That's the level of anxiety I'm experiencing. My goodness, 20 years ago, and how thin I was. But yes, I did, because you're working for, I gave the money to a Catholic school in my old neighborhood, and they really needed it. So $125,000, which is what I won, nothing like you, David, went a long way, So I was happy to do it for charity.
Yeah, but there's been inflation since then, Joy. So, we've got to put that in there. But David, you played for charity, and the $1 million you won is going to the Southern Smoke, which supports people in the food service industry. What are they doing to help?
Well, it's one of the few national charities that provide financial assistance to any restaurant worker in distress, especially now because of the pandemic. So my good friend Chris Shepard operates the charity, and I thought it was, of many charities that are worthwhile, this was the one that was easy for me to support. And by the way, Joy, you made the responsible answer. I made the crazy answer. So I'm glad that it worked out, though, for both of us.
Well, I guess. But I'm actually a gambler. But for other people, I can't gamble. For me, what do I care? It's too hard to. Too much money to give up.
I have to say,
$125,000. Go ahead.
I have to say, David, I'm filled with jealousy and resentment over your win because every single time I'm on Jeopardy or Chopped, I lose. So congratulations on your win. And as we all know, restaurants and specifically restaurant workers have been hit incredibly hard since the pandemic started. I myself am a restaurant owner. People have had to lay off their staff and in many cases close their doors for good. All this while the government could help with a plan like the Restaurants Act, which would create a $120 billion restaurant revitalization fund. What do you say to the people controlling the purse strings here to get them to understand how dire the situation really is?
Well, Sonny, as a fellow restaurateur, you understand that it's almost less about the restaurants right now and more about the people that work in restaurants, that they need a safety net, and they wouldn't need a safety net if we had an appropriate response to this pandemic. And it's incredibly terrible and sad that that hasn't been the case. Hopefully there is a compromise reached in Congress today, but I think the best thing that we can do in lieu of whatever happens in between now and Biden coming into office is supporting the Georgia Senate runoff, because we're going to need a long-term approach to help the hospitality industry and many hourly workers in need.
Yeah.
That's right. We're on your team. So you've created an extremely successful restaurant empire, but this pandemic has had an effect on all aspects of the industry. How are you making it work, specifically in your case? Tell us.
Well, Joy, you know, we have an amazing team. Margaret Mariscal, our CEO, and the entire team of Momofuku have really pivoted and done everything we can. And all of the staff at Momofuku, we've tried a little bit of everything. But one of the things we've relied upon is selling consumer product goods. We have a chili crunch. We have seasoned salts. We're developing soy sauces and sesame oils. But we have that luxury because we've had a lab and we've had this plan in place to do this, to increase our sales outside of the four walls of a restaurant. But a lot of other restaurateurs and chefs don't have that opportunity. But we are certainly fortunate in that regard. But we are still trying to make it to spring just like everybody else.
David, before we go, you and your wife have a 21-month-old son, Hugo, who is absolutely adorable. Now, you post videos of him eating food, and for anyone out there looking for some joy in 2020, let us help you by showing you this. See him?
Oh, man. He's the best.
Now, how do you get him to eat? Because kids can be so finicky with food.
Well, I mean, he weirdly only likes delicious things. He doesn't like vegetables. Not a surprise, but he likes things that just taste good. And it brings me all the joy in the world to feed him. And it's really brought me full circle as to why I cook in the first place, to nurture somebody, to feed somebody with love and care. And this pandemic actually has had a silver lining. It has taught me that work isn't so important as being a dad and being a husband and being a father. So it's just been amazing feeding him and my family since I've been at home.
Wow.
You do good work, Mr. Chang. Good work all around. Thanks so much for coming on the show. And make sure to check out his podcast, The Dave Chang Show and Recipe Club on Spotify. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire airs Sundays at 9 Central. No, 9 Central is not Central.
8 Central.
8 Central.
9 Eastern,
Right.
8 Central.
That's it. You think I was drinking, which I'm not. And it's on ABC.